fire resources down. I will identify myself. My name is Joe Gasparich. I'm the Montgomery County Assistant Emergency Management Director, serving as a Public Information Officer to help these individuals tonight. We'll go from around the table. They can introduce themselves, spell their name for you, tell you who they are. We have some new faces here. So the release is there. I've got some additional information I'll give you when we're done that you can put on there to the release that just got given to us. So, Chief?
My name is Mike Crews, M-I-K-E-C-R-E-W-S. I'm the Taylorville Fire Chief and Emergency Manager for Christian County.
I'm Bruce Barry, Mayor of Taylorville, B-R-U-C-E-B-A-R-R-Y.
Andy Goodall, Assistant Fire Chief, also Davis Division President for Christian County, A-N-D-Y-G-O-O-D-A-L-L.
And I'm Bruce Kettlecamp, Sheriff of Christian County. Kettlecamp's K-E-T-T-E-L-K-A-M-P.
Lieutenant J.W. Price, State Police, District 9, last name Price, P-R-I-C-E.
We'll let each one of the individuals around the table just give you a quick briefing of what they've been up to, and then we'll open up for questions about that.
So we're making progress. We believe that we're transitioning from a life safety incident into a instant stabilization incident. We believe we have roughly no more than 30 that have been transported to local hospitals. As far as we know, there are no more outstanding injuries out in the field. We still have task force working with fire apparatus and ambulances out in the areas that have been damaged. Those will be out for some time. As you've probably seen, the utility crews are working very hard right now to try and get power back up. We brought in a significant amount of resources through different agencies for public works. So we're starting the process of bringing our community whole by doing debris management. The roads are beginning to open it up. Certainly the main thoroughfares are doing so. We brought in of course, the city resources, county resources, township resources. We've made requests to the state for some tandem trucks there. Depending on where we're at on Monday morning, we'll probably reach out to the Department of Corrections to help bring in some inmate support. We've also had very generous support from the labor union in Springfield. They've come down en masse. They're setting up shop now. They are located at the fairgrounds, and we're supporting them with other resources for that. We brought in the state emergency management team, and what we're going to do with them, we're going to start doing damage assessment 7 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to have our local team up with the emergency management teams, and we'll get a strong number on what homes are affected, damaged, and destroyed. We'll get some idea what our infrastructure losses have been into businesses as well. We know that there's been different reports of power lines down, of course, gas leaks. We're managing those. And we have a shelter set up currently at the high school, and we have several people that are in there. We're encouraging people to call a couple numbers. I believe the press has those for unification. And if people want to volunteer, they can do that through the proper channels. We'll have messages that go out in the morning that will tell the public what to do with their debris, what to separate, and where that will go. And we're trying to get as much information out through social media, so we know that's being looked at pretty strong at the Christian County Disaster Recovery website on Facebook. So I think that's where we're at now. So I would say at this point, we don't have any unmet needs. We're working at a disadvantage because it's night. We have light resources that are going out with our our debris management people right now, and so we're working that point. So,
Chief, can I interject?
Sure.
The shelter at the high school has been moved. I was just out there. They were packing it all up. It was moved to Crossroads Church at 212 JC Drive.
Okay, they had an access issue. I guess they solved that. So
They were packing up, and I talked to Temple Principal Matt Hutchison, confirmed that, and I talked to Red Cross. They also confirmed that. So
perfect. I just said that. So.
Okay, I'd just like to urge the residents to stay home, let our crews get out and get the work done. We will work throughout the night. We'll have another press conference at 5 in the morning tomorrow morning and give you an update on that. But please, everyone, just stay home and let our crews finish the work. We got hit pretty hard, so thank God there's no fatalities, and the injuries seem to be not very serious, so hopefully we can get through this and just with more cleanup.
I just want to say, you know, we've had, appreciate the help we've had with agencies responding throughout the state. We've had a lot of help from people from within our community, within our county, and then we've had almost all the counties around us send resources to assist us with this. So we had over 100 firefighters here at one point, assisting us with whatever we needed. So I want to say thank you for those people. And Chief Crew said we're finishing up, searching the areas that were heavily damaged, and to do a immediate search to see if anybody else may be trapped or not. I know we had probably 12 or 15 at least houses where people were trapped in them, or we had to get people out. And like the mayor said, fortunately we've had no fatalities at this point. So we're thankful for that, and we want to thank everybody for the help. And again, what the mayor said, if you don't need to be out, stay home tonight, and let us get a handle on it and get things going tomorrow.
Well, I'd just like to repeat that. You know, the biggest problem that we've had in law enforcement is the traffic congestion, and it's from the gawkers. So, like I said, I really appreciate the people. If you don't have to be out, don't be out, stay at home. I really want to thank, though, the people, especially law enforcement, other law enforcement agencies that came to help. We've had tremendous help from the state police, other agencies, neighboring agencies. Every one of my deputies that, of course, I don't have many deputies working on a shift on afternoons, but I had every one of them were out tonight helping. I just want to let the people know, the victims out there, that you know, law enforcement will be out tonight. We had some reports of looting. We do have squad cars out there, and we're checking to make sure we've got some roads blocked off that they have to be residents. We're checking their driver's license, and they have to have a reason why they need to go through there. So we'll be doing that all night. And again, and I want to thank the public, the citizens. We've had a lot of citizens that's volunteered, that's come in. We've got several businesses from Pana and everywhere coming in with their heavy equipment and helping clear out the roads. That was our major problem, was just getting into, because there were so many trees and debris, and they came and volunteered and helped clear out some of the roads. So we have a lot of great citizens here in Christian County, and I just want to thank them for coming and helping us.
Just to echo everything everybody else said, to hit one thing that hasn't been said, Route 48 south of town is still closed. Hoping to have it open within the hour. State Police has that blocked. We're working on some power lines that are across the railroad tracks and stuff. So please, everybody, if you don't have to be out, stay off the roadways tonight while we clean up. Hopefully tomorrow, better traffic flow.
Here's a couple pieces of information we just got as we were leaving. Ameren is thinking maybe about 2,500 people in Christian County are without power, and approximately 1,270 some residents in Taylorville are without power. They don't know when that will be restored, but they're bringing crews in. As you can see on the news release, they're going to bring crews in and start replacing poles. They think they've had 20 or more poles that were actually damaged in Taylorville. The other thing that you can just kind of write down if you want, there are generator light towers from the mutual aid box alarm system. That's MABUS. There's going to be 10 of those light towers that will be here tonight, helping the responders to light the areas. They've also brought in some of their Polaris 6x6 response vehicles to assist in getting to some of the areas. And there are 2 technical rescue teams from MABUS, which again is mutual aid box alarm system. They're working right now. One's from Springfield, and I don't know where the other one's from, Decatur. But they came in tonight to assist. Also, as we were coming over here, there is a hazardous material situation that's developing maybe up in Willie Station. They're going to go look at that. There's a MABUS hazmat team here. It's the Montgomery and Christian combined team. They're going to go up and see what the situation is on that. So that was the other thing that kind of came across. Right? And your questions are certainly welcome.
I know you do a lot of game planning, you look at worst case scenarios, anything that stands out as far as preparation that really helped you hit the ground running tonight? And what was the worst case scenario? People trapped, everything else, especially in the fire aspect.
One thing that helped the most is Chief Cruz, the DMA. The first tornado warning siren activation went out probably close to an hour before the tornado actually hit town. And then he did something unprecedented, which was set it off a second time when we knew we were imminent with damage in the tornado coming. So I think that helped create the fact of the injuries down and that there were no fatalities. So that was the biggest thing I think that helped us as our community, be ready and then know that, this was serious and they were prepared for it.
I would echo that, and I think though too that this is not the first time we've all seen each other, even though this is not just a Taylorville event as you see it, it's regional wide. Certainly not the first time we've ever interacted with Joe, or of course the sheriff, or any of these organizations we train together. Just ironically, in 2 weeks we're going to have a class covering these type of disasters, so we'll have you more ownership into it then. But I think it's important that we have a tight-knit 11 fire departments in our county. We train together all the time, so we know each other, and we have a good system in place. We have very, very strong support with the city and county, and so having those relationships already in place, I think, helps immensely. So.
You addressed this at 8, but I keep getting questions about it here, which is what, if anything, can people do to help in the morning? I know at 8 you said hold off on that. Is that still the case? What's up?
Well, obviously, as the mayor said, we want people to try and stay home if they can and stay off the streets. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. What
So we've got people saying, I'd like to come volunteer. Is there somewhere they can do that kind of thing?
Well, I don't know what our needs will be in the morning. Our big thing is that we're going to be reaching out to the public again with flyers to kind of give them some insight. But as it stands right now, we don't have any needs for foodstuffs, water, toys, clothes. We don't want to create another disaster within our disaster we have now. So what I would reinforce with the public is if we need things, we will ask for them. We won't hesitate to ask for them. But we don't want people just to arbitrarily send things or just going to create more issues for public works. We have to dispose of all the things. We're stressed as it is right now. So we won't hesitate to do that. We had the Red Cross in our state team that came in. They're working on a donations plan and debris management plan. So I think we're holding our own as it is. And again, we won't hesitate to ask if we need something.
Sheriff, I know the looting aspect's always disturbing, and I guess the secondary issue is, what do people do if they encounter a looter, because obviously it's a bad situation. It's obviously dark and everything else, and somebody might think they're witnessing a looter and it may not be the case. Any advice you'd have to folks who think someone suspicious is on their property?
Well, I would tell them to call 911 right away, and we'll get officers out there to make sure and check them out. I don't want them to take any enforcement or try to apprehend them on their own. So just call us right away. We've got a lot of officers out there, and they get there in a quick time. That's what happened tonight. As soon as we got the call, Taylorville's right there, and we had officers right there.
Sheriff, while we're talking, is other damage outside the city, elsewhere in the county? Do you have any update on some of what's there, maybe closures, things like that?
The only closure I know like right now is 48. We did have some damage, I think, to some houses in Stonington, but nothing severe. And I know that there was damages done out in the county, but I don't have a number. I know that we had weather spotters everywhere, and I talked to my chief deputy, and he followed the tornado for about 30 minutes, and he said it would continue to come down and then go back up, come down and go back up. I know he panically called me because he said the funnel cloud was coming right at my house. So he called me right away and warned me. So, but it went a little bit west. But anyhow, we do have damage on the county. I just don't know how much yet.
Chief, I know this is probably the most significant storm we've had since the ice storm of 05, 06. I know everything's preliminary right now. Do you have any idea how this compares to the damage we saw?
No, I wish I did, honestly. I have learned that it has been isolated, somewhat isolated. I don't know that we're going to ramp up to a federal declaration. Doesn't sound like we will. I'm guessing most of the loss we have is probably insured loss. And we'll have significant overtime costs outside our normal budget, but, and we'll certainly track all of those. But my guess is to meet our per capita, I believe this year is $139,000. We have to have $14 million in damage in the state to be able to get federal funds. I don't think we're coming anywhere close. I'm just guessing. But one thing I would want to add that one of our firefighters' home is completely destroyed tonight, is my understanding. There's just one. Yeah, I believe that was the case, and several of those were damaged, and these guys are still working hard. I just, to say I'm immensely proud of those guys just falls so short on that, but I think it just shows the caliber of people that are out there taking care of these people right now as we're sitting up here, so I think that's important to mention.
You know how many displaced families do you think we might have?
No, there were several families that were coming up waiting to go to the shelter. I don't have those numbers for you. The Red Cross, we'll have those numbers certainly by the next week for sure.
I know the storm spotting game's changed a little bit with social media and everybody having a camera, but just how important, I know police have always been at the tip of the spear as far as I know. People are skeptical when you say this is a tornado warning with bow echo or rotation picked up on radar. And I know that when you hear a police officer confirm touchdown of a tornado, that's still very important, seems to have an impact on people. How important is that aspect as far as police still working as storm spotters out there? And did that come into play tonight?
Oh no, it definitely came into play, at least on the state police, when we were tracking tornadoes all over about the 7-8 county area here, plus down in District 18. I mean, there was multiple touchdowns tonight. And so we had troopers all over, local county deputies, you're monitoring the radio, and the officers are giving you updates. And you're right, there are a lot of firefighters that are out doing it, ESDA, emergency management. I mean, the spotters are the people that are saving lives every day with those things. So we definitely focus a lot on the spotting, and radar's great, but boots on the ground and guys saying, no, that thing's on the ground and moving, that's valuable intel that's used to save lives in communities just like Taylorville. It's probably why we haven't had any fatalities tonight.
And just on that, it's a misconception to say that the radars can see the tornadoes. They cannot see the tornadoes. What they can see is a rotation. They can see the bow echoes. They can see all those indicators of it. But as the trooper mentioned, we have to have trained spotters on the ground to be able to see that debris and say, yes, we do have a tornado. And that's exactly what happened tonight. So we had 9 fire departments out well before it arrived, and of course law enforcement played a huge role in that too. And you could hear they were tracking it for lengths of time. So.
Everybody good?
Anybody, I realize it's probably too early for this, anybody get a sense of just how wide this twister was? I saw the huge tornado, huge and catastrophic potential, but I realize that's for the Weather Service to make the final call, but
Yeah.
any indication just how big it was at its peak?
So they'll be doing their damages. They look at it from a historical perspective, the National Weather Service. I heard somewhere a quarter of a mile, and I don't know if you saw it.
I mean, they just said it was huge when they were on the ground, and the thing about it is this thing, and the Weather Service will tell us this thing appeared to stay on the ground. It didn't dissipate. It was on the ground and stayed on the ground from Montgomery County all the way into Christian County. So, I mean, there were multiple fire departments picking it up, and like I said, at the previous press conference, there were a couple guys from Montgomery County that followed this thing all the way through its path. So, they'll be able to tell us. I mean, the Weather Service, but it seems, I mean, they don't typically stay on the ground that long, but this one seemed to for some reason or another. So,
I think it was enveloped by rain too. So
yeah, it could very well.
like here's if there's a silver lining to this at all, I'm so happy it happened at 4 o'clock and not 8 o'clock. Because it's amazing how we can put these warnings out, but people do not take them seriously. And 30% of these storms happen at night. And so although we're dealing with the aftermath tonight, at least we were able to begin this process during the day, and people did take it seriously. So I think that's a plus, I would say.
So we good? What's 5 o'clock look like for you guys? You want to go at 5, or is that a good time to do it, or you tell us what would meet your needs more? Would it be 5 or to go later than 5?
Let me